Hello and welcome back to the AEW News channel, and in today's video we've got a number of stories as we edge closer to the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. And the pay-per-view has a stacked card, so let me know which match you're most looking forward to in the comments down below. But with that out of the way, let's get in to the headlines. Are a number of AEW wrestlers heading to WWE? Cody has confirmed that he won't be using the Rhodes name. Will Matt Jackson miss AEW Full Gear? The main event of AEW Full Gear has been revealed. Are AEW interested in signing a former WWE wrestler? And is Sting set for AEW Full Gear? And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for daily All Elite Wrestling content. But without any further ado, let's get into the stories. So let's get into our first story, and according to Fightful Select, WWE have reached out to a number of wrestlers who have had matches on AEW Dark. The names are currently unknown, but this won't come as too much of a surprise after WWE seemingly convinced Pineapple Pete and Ben Carter to jump ship recently. Pete, of course, was spotted in the audience of Raw Underground a number of weeks back, and Ben Carter has reportedly signed with NXT UK. And is this just the first two of many? Only time will tell. After our report yesterday that Cody can now use the Cody Rhodes name, he confirmed on the AEW Full Gear media call that he will not be using the name in a wrestling capacity. He said on the call that the details of it all aren't important, other than that it was a very positive, no hard feelings on either side type scenario. I will say though that it's not something I probably will use in the wrestling space. He did go on to confirm that he intends to use the name in projects outside of wrestling. On top of this though, there is a little bit more information as to why WWE dropped their pursuit of the Cody Rhodes trademark, and Cody has been in the process of trademarking some WCW related trademarks, more specifically Slamboree, which was a WCW pay-per-view, and the Match Beyond, which is a term often used in association with war games. Cody has since dropped these WCW trademarks seemingly in a mutual agreement with WWE. A few weeks ago, Matt Jackson was injured on Dynamite after a dive off the stage onto the Butcher and the Blade. He is reportedly dealing with a partial torn MCL and a thinning of the ACL, which is why he's been selling an injury on TV as of late. Matt has taken to Twitter to address the fans' concerns for the Young Bucks scheduled match against FTR for the tag team titles. I appreciate everyone's concern about my injury, however, I have indeed been medically cleared by the doctor to participate in Saturday's match against the Boar Horsemen at Full Gear, live on pay-per-view. Thanks for the support, Matt. F the Revival. It's also important to note that the Young Bucks have worked 8 matches since the injury occurred, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. Good as in it means that he can work through it, and bad that it may have inflamed the injury even more. But let's hope that this won't affect this weekend's much anticipated tag team clash, and let's hope the match can go ahead as Matt has said. There has been some speculation about which match will be the main event of Full Gear this weekend, with the card stacked to the brim. And I said in my predictions video that I thought FTR versus the Young Bucks should go on last, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Tony Khan has appeared on the Wrestling Observer Radio to discuss Saturday's event and confirmed that the AEW World Championship match will headline the show. This has usually been the case for AEW events to close with the world title, with the Stadium Stampede as the exception to the rule, but this does pose the question as to why AEW built up the tag titles as equal to the world title in the company's early days. But with that said, the Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston build has been great, so it is of course good to see Eddie put in the main event spotlight, and the I Quit stipulation should make this one hell of a main event. And let's get into our next story then, as a former WWE wrestler has seemingly caught the eye of Tony Khan. The current MLW wrestler Davey Boy Smith is reportedly a free agent in December and has interest from WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling and All Japan Pro-Wrestling. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, AEW's Tony Khan expressed an interest in signing Smith at a Halloween party hosted by Chris Jericho. Smith is currently set to be part of the MLW restart as the promotion looks to begin running shows again, and his feud with Jacob Fatu may be his last with the promotion. Of course, Smith is a former WWE Tag Team Champion and an IWGP Tag Champion in New Japan, as well as picking up a number of other titles since leaving WWE in 2011. And I think this would be a great signing for AEW, but the interest from WWE will make this a tough negotiation for the AEW higher-ups. And let me know in the comments where you think Smith will end up. But for now, let's get into our final story of the day. So then, in our final story of the day, there has been several rumours over the past few weeks that WCW legend Sting could be heading back to TNT as part of All Elite Wrestling. And the rumours began after Sting's WWE shop page was removed from the site. And this seems to suggest that WWE's contract with the Stinger has expired and he is now a free agent. And this follows the news that Mattel had pulled the Stinger from their Legends 7 series of action figures back in May. Now, this is just mere speculation at this point, but the story seems to make sense if you look at the past few weeks of AEW Dynamite. More specifically, when you look at the Cody versus Darby Allin feud that has been brewing. Allin has been spotted in the stands watching over Cody's matches, reminiscent of the Icon, who was often spotted high up in the arenas during his Crow days in WCW. And if Sting was to debut, would he be aligned with Darby Allin in his quest against Cody? It would seem to make more sense that he would be aligned with both men after Team Taz stated on Dynamite that they will be keeping a close eye on the TNT title match this weekend. So will Sting be the one to make the save for Cody and Darby after Team Taz interrupt the match? And can you see Sting making an appearance this weekend after his WWE Legends deal has expired? I certainly hope so, and with Darby imitating Sting over the past few weeks, maybe the Stinger is set to return home to TNT once again for the first time since 2001. And of course, before we've had similar rumours about Sting signing with AEW, but with the whole Darby aspect, I feel like this one has a lot more meat to the bone, so to speak. And yeah, this could easily be happening this weekend, but of course only time will tell. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think we're going to be seeing the Icon return to TNT, or do you think this is just another rumour and maybe he will just sign back with WWE under a Legends deal? And do you think if he did sign with AEW, do you think he'd get a match? Maybe with Cody, maybe with Darby in a tag team or singles competition, maybe against Brian Cage or Ricky Starks. If he was to make the save against Team Taz, it's certainly interesting. But as I say, let us know what you think in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe for more daily AEW content, and why not drop a like while you're down there. But until next time, peace.